Yep, I'm sitting on the toilet. But don't worry, it's not what you think. This is the Craftsman leaf blower. I've used this thing for all kinds of stuff, and now I'm gonna use it to blow out the water heater. We'll see if this works. I don't know. So I recently decided that I wanted to switch up my griddle situation here a little bit. So for the past 2 or 3 years, we've had the 22-inch propane Blackstone griddle. By the way, I already weighed myself. I weigh 187, so that's what the baseline weight is here. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am the pancake freaking master. I'm not gonna give away my special secrets here.
We just left Muscatatic Park and discovered that we need a new shore power cable and a surge protector. Somehow they got melted together.
Yep, I'm sitting on the toilet. But don't worry, it's not what you think. We don't have any hot water right now. So according to the manual, what happens is when you start the hot water, if it goes through 2 ignition cycles and it fails to light, it'll give you that E1 error code. Now, I have plenty of propane. I just checked that. I stood outside when Candace turned the hot water on inside, and I could smell the propane out there. So it's not a propane issue. I think it's just an igniter issue. And I think what's going on here is we just had a torrential downpour, and it was coming down pretty much sideways right onto the driver's side of the rig. And of course, that's where the water heater is on this particular unit. So I think we've just got a bunch of water inside of the water heater itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go out there right now, and I'm just gonna take my leaf blower that I've got, and I'm gonna blow as much water out of there as possible. That's the plan, and we're gonna see if it works. Because that's right now the only thing that I can come up with is that it just got a bunch of water in there and it doesn't wanna ignite properly. A couple weeks ago, I showed you guys all my Craftsman toys. Well, most of my Craftsman toys. I've got a couple of more, but this is the Craftsman leaf blower that I got. I've used this thing for all kinds of stuff, blowing off the patio, blowing off the roof, blowing out the pass-through, and now I'm gonna use it to blow out the water heater. We'll see if this works. I don't know. Lord, that's a lot of water in there. All right, that's all it was, guys. You saw it. We just blew it out with the leaf blower. There was a lot of water in there. So there was a lot of standing in the bottom, and then there was a lot, I think, back in here. So we just blew it out really good. And so I'm gonna turn the outdoor shower on here with some hot water. Candace can zoom in here and you'll be able to hear this thing kick on just like it's supposed to. So there you go. If you've ever got a torrential sideways downpour and your tankless water heater doesn't work, well, maybe just try and go out there and blow some water out of it.
There she goes, folks.
And as always, that is not a how-to video, that's just how I did it. So maybe it's the right way, maybe it's not, but we do have hot water again. And quite honestly, that's all that really matters. So I recently decided that I wanted to switch up my griddle situation here a little bit. So for the past 2 or 3 years, we've had the 22-inch propane Blackstone griddle, and I really kind of wanted to switch this up for weight reasons, weight and space reasons. So that thing's pretty big. We're gonna weigh it here in just a minute. We're gonna weigh both of these, the new one and the old one, and we're gonna see what kind of weight savings we've got here, because as you guys all know, weight is a huge factor in these RVs, as well as space itself. But that thing's big, it's heavy, it's bulky, it's not super easy to get in and out of the rig when I wanna use it. And then of course we have to keep the propane bottle as well, which we get rid of that. That's more space and more weight that we can shed. So we went out to Walmart a couple of days ago and bought this 17-inch electric griddle, again from Blackstone. I really like the Blackstone products, at least the one that I have. I really enjoyed the 22-inch that we have. It's just a little bit big and bulky. So we've got this one. We're going to take it out and we're going to kind of show you what the differences are between these two models, show you the weight differences and the size differences, and then I think we're going to use it this evening to maybe make some grilled cheese sandwiches. So let's just go ahead and get this thing out of the box here and see what she looks like, and then we'll do some comparisons. Okay, so that was pretty easy, right? So yeah, so the first thing I can tell is it's not really the same cooking surface. The other one's a full cast iron, which is nice. So we'll have to read the instructions, see if there's anything that I need to do to this surface before I start cooking on it. But that was easy enough. So Candace was just reading the instruction booklet there, and it's basically just a Teflon surface. So whereas I used to be able to use my metal spatulas on the old one, I'm gonna have to switch over probably to plastic spatulas or maybe a wood spatula. I don't know what my preference is gonna be at this time. For the amount of cooking that we really do on this and the type of cooking that we do on this, I think I'm actually gonna enjoy this one better, because the propane one is that cast iron and it's a little difficult to clean, and you know, you have to season it. You just gotta make sure you've got that oil on there. So for the type of cooking that we do on here, and as often as we do it, I think I'm really gonna like this Teflon cooking surface a lot better. So having said that, again, the reason I wanted to get rid of the propane one was for weight considerations and space. This one's significantly smaller. It's not nearly as high. It's not nearly as wide. And again, I can get rid of that propane tank. Now, the downside to having the electric griddle here is this is a 1500 watt griddle. So when we're boondocking, we're gonna have to take that into consideration. So I'm not saying that I'm not gonna use it while we're boondocking. I can definitely use the 1500 watt griddle. It's just that we're gonna have to manage that in our overall boondocking process. At any rate, what I wanna do is I just wanna get some basic measurements, length, width, depth here on both of these, so that we can see what the space savings is here. And then we've got a scale out here. I'm just gonna pick these things up. We're gonna get on the scale and we're gonna figure out how much they weigh. The other thing is I bought a table for the propane powered one. And so we're gonna be able to get rid of that table. So let's get some measurements here and just compare the two real quick. All right, so width, we've got just shy of 18.5 inches. The depth, including the hinges that stick out in the back, is about 19 inches. And then it only stands about 7 inches. So we've got 18.5, 19 by 7.5 versus the propane griddle, which is pretty big and bulky. So we've got 12 inches of height. So that's a difference of about 5 inches right there. We've got 23.5 inches wide. So that's another 5 inches for about 4.5 to 5 inches. I can't remember if that was 18 or 18.5. And then 19 inches in depth, which is about the same. So we've got some significant size difference here, but that's not really my main concern. Although it will be nice to have a little bit, just a few more inches back there where I store this. But what my main concern is that weight. So we're gonna break out the scale here. We're gonna take it over here on the concrete. I'm gonna weigh myself, then we'll weigh me with the griddle, and then we'll subtract the two, and we'll come up with a weight for both of these.
If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that bell button so you're notified when we drop future videos. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps keep these videos coming to you each week. We really like hearing from all of you, so if you have any thoughts, ideas, or suggested topics, pop those down into the comment section.
All right, so we're gonna start with the big one. By the way, I already weighed myself. I weigh 187, so that's what the baseline weight is here. 231, so that's 31 plus 13, that's 44 pounds is what this thing weighs all by itself. Whoop, this one, so much lighter. Okay, and now we have, all right, so 207. So 13 and 7 is 20 pounds. So There you go, right off the bat, we've gained 23 pounds. Well, we've lost 23 pounds. We've shed 23 pounds of weight from the rig, plus the propane bottle, 20 pounds there. So we're gonna be shedding about 40 to 45 pounds just by switching up to the electric griddle. Plus we've got the table that we're getting rid of too. And by the way, the table and that griddle, they're both gonna go to Sam. She wants them. So I don't know how much the table weighs. It's probably maybe 5 pounds. So we'll say 45 to 50 pounds is what we're gonna shed just by switching to this electric one. So that's good. So you saw just how easy this thing was to put together, which is obviously means it's that easy to take apart. So again, one of the things I'm really gonna like about this is it's gonna be super easy to clean. With the cast iron one, it can be kind of a pain in the neck. It's not hard, but it just takes time. So this one, I can just simply lift this lid off, take the pan out, and I can take it inside and wash it in the sink with actual soap and water. So I think I'm really gonna enjoy this griddle. So I've got one more added benefit to the electric griddle. So let's start with the benefit is you can see I'm inside because it's hot and nasty and humid outside today. So I can bring this thing inside and cook whatever I need to cook on it versus that propane one. Now, you never wanna bring any of your propane grills or griddles inside to use them. That's obviously really bad. So on those hot, nasty days, I can bring it in here and cook whatever I need. This morning is gonna be round 2 on the griddle with pancakes and eggs. And what I wanna do here is this morning, we're gonna use our kilowatt meter to see exactly how much power this uses as we cook the pancakes and eggs, basically. So I figure it's a typical breakfast for 2 on a griddle, and it says that it's supposed to draw 1500 watts. I haven't seen it draw that much yet. The most I've seen it draw is about 1200 watts. And that was really just kind of a rough estimate based on what my surge protector, my power watchdog, was telling me. So as we can see here, looking at my Hughes Watchdog app, it's reading about 11.7 amps on that side. And then it started out at about 1.5 amps. So it's drawing about 10 amps, which is really only about 1200 watts. This morning, we're gonna use the kilowatt meter to see exactly how much power we're using instantaneously, meaning how many watts we're using. And then we're gonna see over the course of cooking the breakfast here, how many kilowatt hours we use, because that's important. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in, we'll get the griddle started up, and we'll get to cooking breakfast. Okay, just turning it on and setting it to 350. It looks like we're drawing about 1150 watts. So we're just gonna let that go, and I'm gonna let this warm up, and then we'll get everything cooked. All right, I think we're close enough to that 350 I'm ready to start cooking. I think we're sitting at about 0.08 kilowatt hours, so about 80 watt hours. So let's just get started on this. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am the pancake freaking master. I'm not going to give away my special secrets here, but not all of them anyway. I will say that having plenty of butter on the grill is a must. The real secret is in the preparation of the batter, and I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon to the top of these. One thing I can tell already about this griddle is the edges are not heated very well. Now, that's typical of a lot of griddles. Even the propane one that I had, that one didn't do super well around the edges, but this one seems to be just a little bit worse around the edges. Another thing to keep in mind about pancakes is they don't have to be pretty, they just have to be tasty. All right, gonna move on to the eggs here. Need some more butter though. I feel like I'm running a cooking show here. I'm not a cook for sure. All right, I think that's it, guys. I'm gonna turn this thing off. We are all done. Let me get these scooped out of here and then we'll check and see how much total power we used over there. All right, that's it. Let's check what we got over here. So we've only got about 280 watt hours, which, I mean, that's pretty good for cooking a breakfast. Again, it was 1500 watts total is what was on the side of the box. And when we did our kind of unveiling of this earlier, we posted that also on Facebook, and we got a lot of questions about how much power it uses. You know, people are going to be concerned about that, especially when you're boondocking. And so I just wanted to kind of dive into it a little bit deeper because people, you know, they hear that 1500 watts and then that kind of scares them because they think they're going to drain their batteries. So the thing you got to keep in mind about this griddle is it is thermostatically controlled, which means that heating element is not always going to be on, and you're not going to use it for, you know, for the most part, you're not going to use it for an extended period of time. So 280 watt hours to cook the breakfast here, I think is perfectly reasonable, perfectly doable. So anyway, I'm going to cut this off. We're going to have our breakfast, but I really just wanted to show how little power I think this thing uses because it is thermostatically controlled, and you know, it's going to be shutting on and off. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. So we'll see you later.
All right, so it is Wicket's birthday today. He is 7 whole years old. And as he knows very well, when we make pancakes, he always gets a cupcake. But today, because it's his birthday, we have added some peanut butter, which he loves. Is that good stuff, buddy? Yeah. There you go. Happy birthday, buddy. Yeah. We just left Muscatatic Park and discovered that we need a new shore power cable and a surge protector. Somehow they got melted together. Something happened. Maybe Mr. Electrician here has an idea, but that means that our 100-mile trip down to Taylorsville Lake State Park in Kentucky is now going to be about 150 miles because we have to go quite a bit out of our ways to find the only store in the area that, one, is open on a Sunday, and two, actually has a 50 amp power cord in stock. So
Fun times.
Fun times.
All right, in a day full of calamity, white knuckle driving, and some boneheaded moves, we stopped at Camping World. We went way out of our way to a Camping World to get that 50 amp cable we need. And this is my fault, totally my fault for the most part. I walked in there, I was in a rush, and I asked one of the employees where the shore power cable was for RV. She showed me, she just pointed out the 50 amp, because I called, she knew who I was. She pointed out the 50 amp cable to me. I grabbed it, checked out, went on down the road, got to the campground, and discovered that I had picked up an extension cable, not a shore power cable. So we found an Ace Hardware about 10 minutes from our site and called them. They said they had the right cable for us. I told them exactly what I needed. I needed the 50 amp cable. I need the actual shore power cable that plugs into the rig. He said, yep, we got that. Definitely sounded like he knew what he was talking about. or he knew what I was talking about. Turns out, no clue what I was talking about, and all they had was more extension cables. So it's about 87, 88 degrees out here. I've got my EcoFlows, but obviously those are only going to run for a limited number of hours with the air conditioning running. And not only that, but I'm parked underneath of trees, so I basically have no sunlight to power those EcoFlows or to recharge them via the solar panels. So my 800 watt panels are only bringing in about 86 watts. My other panel, my 360 watt or my 330 watt panel is only bringing in about 0. So good thing is it's supposed to cool off a little bit tonight. We are in the shade, so it's not unbearable in the rig right now, but it's not real great either. But it's supposed to cool off. It's supposed to be in the mid 60s tonight, so hopefully we can cool the rig off a little bit tonight. We'll see. I think we're about an hour away from the closest place to get the cable, which is back at Camping World. So note to self, don't ever listen to the folks at Camping World. You guys know this. I know this. They don't know what they're talking about there. I knew better, but I just didn't check. I was in a hurry. So that's what happens when you get in a hurry. Things go wrong. And when things start to go wrong, if you don't slow down, take your time, think everything through, things just kind of snowball. And that's what happened today. So we're going to make this, we'll make this work tonight somehow. Okay, so we're going to top off this calamitous day. Is calamitous a word? I don't know. With installing a new easy start on a second air conditioner on the roof. If I do that, I should be able to get through the whole night, hopefully with just one air conditioner. May not be able to set it down as low as we normally do, but I think we can get through the night. The reason I have that second easy start is a whole nother story that we'll get to in a future video, but it just so happens that I have it, and we're gonna get it installed so we can have some AC overnight, at least a little bit of AC. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take the camera up there and show the installation of this because I've done that twice. Actually, I have 2 separate videos. I'll put the links to my Easy Start videos in the description down below. So I'm not going to take the camera up there and show the installation. But what I do have back here, you can see I've got everything I need. I think I'm just going to need a screwdriver, a pair of wire strippers, a wire crimper, and I've got some Wago or Wago connectors, a couple of those, and then I've got a couple of end connectors that I think I'm gonna need as well. And then obviously I've got a multimeter to make sure that everything is turned off up there, make sure I've got the wrong breaker or the right breaker open. So having said that, I'm gonna go open that breaker now, and then I'm gonna go up there and tear into that AC unit, and we'll bring you along the ride at the end to see if everything works out all right. Okay, so I got that done. Again, I'm not gonna talk about the installation of that at all because I've kind of done that in 2 previous videos again that I'll link down below, but I did get it installed, and at least we won't die of heat exhaustion tonight in the middle of our sleep. So having said all of that, I'm disgusting. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to shower and then have a drink, or if I'm going to have a drink, then shower, then have another drink. It's been a long day. Like I said, full of calamity, white knuckle driving, and sheer stupidity on my part. So we do have a nice site though. So this site is really, really nice. It's a pull-through site. It's in Taylorsville State Park. Taylorsville Lake State Park in Kentucky. Our campsite is facing the trees. We have a huge area behind us, and we've got a little bit of respite from the sun in the evenings as the sun is setting in that direction. So that'll help, at least for tonight, to get this rig cooled down before we go to bed, because we're not gonna, we're only gonna have maybe 5 or 6 hours, maybe at the most, maybe 5 hours at the most on this EcoFlow with that air conditioner. So we'll get it cooled down, and then hopefully about 2 o'clock in the morning, it's supposed to be pretty cool outside. So I'm sure one of us will wake up between when we go to bed and 2 in the morning, and we'll just open up a window, and then we'll be good. We'll have to take the animals with us tomorrow because we got to drive all the way back to Lexington, Kentucky, which is about an hour away, to hit up that Camping World again so that I can undo what I did and get the right cable. All right, got the shower out of the way, now clean in all the right cracks and crevices. And I wanted to give one more update on this whole situation tonight here. So we started up the first AC unit on the one EcoFlow and its extra battery at about 4:40 this afternoon, and it's now 8:35, and I wanted to see how much we've got left on that side, on that EcoFlow and its extra battery. So taking a quick look at the app here, it looks like I've still got about 25% remaining, another hour and a half. So it's been going almost right at 4 hours, and I've still got an hour and a half left. And so that's off of the one EcoFlow, the Delta Pro unit, and its extra battery. So it's a total of 7,200 watt hours. So it looks like we're gonna get about 5 hours out of this thing. I'll probably shut it off here soon because I actually have started up the second AC unit that's running off of the other side, which is another Delta Pro and its extra battery. And right now we're sitting at about 88% on that side. And it looks like we got about 4 hours and 45 minutes on that one, and I don't think we're going to need to run it that long, but I'm running them both in tandem right now just to help cool the rig down a little bit more before we go to bed. We'll probably go to bed here in about another hour or so, so I'll probably go in and turn off that original AC unit here in about a half hour, and that'll leave us enough to make coffee in the morning for sure, because all of the outlets in the rig come off of that side. So I just want to make sure we have enough room to make coffee in the morning for sure. So I think we're going to be good for the night. That's actually, you know, it's going to end up being about 4.5 to 5 hours on that AC unit that's working on that one EcoFlow system. That's actually more than I thought. Now, I will say this, these Coleman Mach air conditioners, they actually don't draw nearly as much power as the Debacle units did on our last rig. So those things drew about 11 amps when they were running, somewhere between 10.5 and 11 amps when they were running. These things are only running about somewhere between 8 to 9 amps once that starting surge is over and they're up and running. So that's pretty significant when you're talking about operating off of batteries. I mean, that's, you know, you're talking about 250 watts difference there probably, at least, between those Debacle units and these Coleman units. These Coleman units I'm really impressed with, especially with now having 2 of those easy starts on there. I can really make these EcoFlow units go a long, long way. So anyway, like I said, I'll probably turn off the original AC unit here in about a half hour. It should be pretty cool in there by then, and then we'll just shut the door to the bedroom, and we'll leave that bedroom AC on. And with that door shut, it should stay relatively cool in there, and I should have plenty of power to get through the night. So anyway, I'll give you another update in the morning. We'll take another look at the app and see where we're at on both of those units, but I think we're going to have plenty of room. I think we're still going to have to take the animals with us tomorrow. I just don't want a chance leaving the animals in here and then those batteries dying while we're gone if something goes wrong. So we'll probably still take the animals with us tomorrow when I get that new cord. Hopefully this time I can manage to get the right cable and we can be done with all of this. But anyway, wanted to just give another update on that. Really, really happy with these EcoFlows. They've really come through for me in, well, this is my first jam that I've been in, but they've really come through in this whole boondocking situation several times. So with that, I'm gonna probably finish my drink and then we're gonna head to bed here probably pretty soon. All right, so I'm sitting here editing this video and I just realized I either didn't get the update for the next morning on those EcoFlows or I lost the footage. I don't know, but either way, I do have the screenshot that I got the morning after that we ran those air conditioners basically all night long, as much as we needed, and we were comfortable. So we can see here in the screenshot that when we got up the next morning, we were sitting at about 11% on one set of EcoFlows and then sitting at about 26% on the other side. So we had plenty of juice to get us through the night on those air conditioning units. So anyway, I don't want to drag this out, but I did want to give that update because these things really came through for us in that whole situation. Now, if you are interested in finding out what the problem was, why we burned up our shore power cable and our surge protector, you're gonna have to stay tuned next week, where I'm gonna sit down and go through that whole thing and show you guys what I found on that. So stay tuned for next week's episode where I walk you through that. What I found, how do we prevent that kind of stuff from happening in the future. And don't forget that if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and then go down there and hit that bell button as well so you get notified of all of our future videos. And until that next video, happy camping and stay safe out there, guys.